Hi there, welcome back to Not Another Budget. I'm Nicole, and on this channel I'm attempting to cash budget my way out of debt and fix several years of financial misbehaviour. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, please don't forget to stick around and check out the other content I have created for you on this channel. Now, I am still running a slightly reduced content level throughout November. That is because this month started with the passing unexpectedly of my granddad. Which is taking its toll a little bit, and it has also in terms of like continuing training and things like that, I can put on the mask and I can act in front of the kids and in front of my colleagues so that they don't pick up on how I'm feeling or what kind of anything like that. I can perform, so to speak, and that's very much reflected in my observations, my feedback. Everyone's like, you're doing really, really well, but I am still acutely aware that I am delivering projects which, you know, like I can get really deep down into the weeds too, in terms of like how much I love them and how much like I geek and nerd out over them, to, you know, groups and cohorts that I've got a relatively good relationship with, so I can start to really kind of delve into, you know, more like behavior management, building relationships with students and things like that, picking up on like the invisible student, quote unquote, and start to kind of experiment with different strategies. So all of that's going really, really well, but I'm just acutely aware that like I'm a bit numb to a lot of it. And then this week Mr. Bowie, my lovely cat, who you have seen on this channel before, he is definitely a personality, and he is he's my baby, decided to shave a few years off my life. Now, this is a primarily a Mr. Bowie update video. He's still here at the time of filming. He is not out of the woods yet, but he is better than what he was, and I feel like this is the first time I have had a chance to sit down and just stop since about 11 o'clock on Thursday night. So Bowie is an outside toileting cat as much as possible. He has access to a litter tray. He has had exactly the same diet. He doesn't like tolerate any real changes to his diet or treats or anything. So he's very much like a samey cat. He will use the litter tray if he absolutely has to. He will choose to go outside, and has now timed his toileting activities based on when I am home from work, and can therefore let him out. And that therefore makes it very hard for me as the owner to monitor things regularly. I'd noticed on Thursday morning that he seemed to be struggling to go to the toilet a little bit and wanted to go outside more frequently. But his eating habits were still fine, and his personality was fine. I went off to work, came back and saw a decrease in his behaviour. And continued to monitor, continued to let him out, continued to let him have access to go outside to go to the toilet. I watered down his food some more. I removed the dry food, short of giving him like a laxative from Amazon, which I wasn't going to do because I didn't know what I was looking at. I did everything that I could to just try and like ease what I thought was a bit of constipation for him. At 4 o'clock on Friday morning, I was up with him crying because he was just meowing. He was meowing. He was uncomfortable. He was in, I think, some pain. Unfortunately, I had essential workshop safety training, which had been pre-booked in September, that I couldn't get out of, and meant that therefore I had to go in. And I had to go in and just thought, right, okay, he can take the day to rest. Hopefully, whatever, like, if he's getting himself stressed and worked up, he'll take the day to rest. It'll be fine. And then he'll use the litter tray. But I went in knowing in my gut that he wasn't well and he wasn't okay, and there was nothing I could do about it. I had to go to that session, and that was all on my mind that day. Because as a DT trainee teacher, I needed to be signed off on all of the machines. That has to be done by a professional body who has to come in and give in-person training. Now, this should have all been booked and implemented before I'd even started my teacher training. It hadn't been, due to an oversight through the teacher training provider scheme. And it was therefore building to an impact on the fact that I was having to pause my teaching journey, because the groups were moving on to practical and I was not allowed to teach them practical because I wasn't signed off on these machines. So this had to be done Thursday and Friday, and as soon as I walked out of the building, I rang the vets and said, I need some advice. This is what's happened. This is what's going on. He said, have you seen him wee? And I went, no, I haven't. I just think it's constipation, but I'm not 100% sure. He said, you need to get him in urgently, as in get in the car now, get the cat, bring him in straight away. And he was in a very, very bad way when I got home. He was very, very distressed. Got him straight into the car, straight into the vets. And it turns out that he had basically a buildup of sulfate and magnesium crystals in his urine that had completely blocked the urethral passage. So if I'd left it another day, all of the waste in the urine would have gone into his bloodstream, and that would have been it. That would have been fatal. It's been a very, very stressful 2 days. It was getting him to the vets and then being like, right, okay, we are going to sedate him. We're going to give him painkillers. We need to give him antibiotics. He was being injected full of stuff. Blood, urine samples when they were able to get that sorted. All of the things like that. Then it was taking him home to monitor him overnight because it's not a 24-hour vet. Then it was bringing him back in yesterday, dropping him off and just fingers crossed, hoping and praying that actually he can wee without a catheter because he had to have a catheter in overnight. And the whole time just having to walk away and leave him yesterday and just hope for the best, where he had to be sedated again. He had to have more x-rays. He had to have more bloods taken. He had to have a cannula put in. He had to have a ring, which he hated. He had his front legs and half of his neck shaved. And he's now home with me. We have got to go back tomorrow after work for another vet's appointment. He's fine to be left during the day. He's got to go back tomorrow. He today is acting like there's nothing, or this morning is acting like there's nothing wrong. He wants to go outside. He wants to play. He wants to go find the kittens that he's friends with. He wants to go have an argument with Clive, who lives 3 doors down. He wants to eat everything, which he can't now do because he now has to have a special diet. He has to have a magnesium-free diet, which is going to have budgetary implications, which we'll get onto in a second. In terms of the costs for this so far, now I have been paying for pet insurance. I am covered up to £8,000 a year for lifetime cover, and I'm halfway through that term. My vets have a policy. You pay for the first £250 up front, which includes anything that can go towards an excess, and then they will immediately claim the rest with the vets, with the insurers on your behalf. You just have to open up the portal claim and they do the rest. So my emergency fund is gone. That was that £250 paid for. I wasn't aware that the vets could do things directly. So I had my mum, my dad, my guarantor, and my other set of remaining grandparents on standby in case we needed to pay the full amount up front. In terms of treatment costs so far, It's £1,000 for Friday's sedation, catheter, x-ray, bloods, urine. It's $138.99 for his injections, antibiotics and painkillers on Friday. Yesterday, it's so for Saturday's cost, so that's £1,140 essentially on just Friday. On Saturday, so yesterday, it was another £1,000 for the catheter removal, sedation, bloods, urine. I have walked away with about 5 different prescriptions to give him, so I think that's about £200. I don't yet have that full breakdown. So we're up to £2,340. They gave me a box of some magnesium-free wet food to try him on. That was £13. So we're up to £2,350. This is without anything they do for him tomorrow. Okay. I don't have that money sitting around in either an emergency fund or any other place. Immediate and extended family, when it's fine, we'll step in if you need to pay it up front. Check they take over the phone payment. We've got the money sitting there. We'll cover it, put it through the insurance if you need to then back claim it and then sort it out at the back end. It's fine, don't worry. Thankfully, at the minute, that's not the case. What I don't know yet is if my insurer will cover all of those costs and all of it in one go, because Bowie is now going to, it turns out Bowie is a breed that is prone to this type of illness, and it can reoccur. Now, the problem with it reoccurring is if it recurs at the severity again, of which it has done, I will not be covered for that by any insurer again. They'll pay out this first time. They will not cover for a reoccurring scenario. So that therefore means that worst case scenario, let's say that whatever the vet decides to do tomorrow in terms of more injections, any more x-rays, things like that, let's just say we come in at a bill of about £3,000, okay, total for his insurance claim. If I don't feed him a magnesium-free diet, if I keep him on his same food, keep him on his same litter tray, anything like that, this is what I will have to pay out for if this situation occurs again. Max, I hope. And I hope I don't have to. If it occurs but it's not severe, I will then obviously be paying for things like painkillers, antibiotics, x-rays, bloods, urine, no sedation, no surgery, I hope. Bowie is going to have a significant emergency fund to cover that, because the insurance won't. It's almost like they don't want to pay out for things. I can mitigate this as much as possible in terms of his health. I can feed him the magnesium-free diet. There are, I think, from what I have found based on my research, about 4 or 5 vet-approved options to buy on the market in the UK, and it's not cheap. So I ran the costs for the cheapest one, and this is based on 4-week month, not 5-week month. His food costs alone for just a normal set of dry food, which he has to have because he needs it for his teeth. He's a little bit prone to that, so he needs to have dry food. But the good news is I can buy 1 bag of dry food a month and he just picks at it. And then he is on a wet food diet for the rest of the time. So for a 4-week month, the total costs for that is coming in at £165. And that is for the cheapest provider that I can find. And I don't know if that is the best provider. It's the one the vet has given me, and because he has been hungry, because he's been sedated and gone through things, he's been eating it so far. So I don't really want to kind of upset his system anymore and stress him out by changing food again. So Bowie is going to start costing an awful lot of money, which I'm going to pay for. In terms of the budgetary implications on my budget, where this money is going to be found, what I can do to find it, I don't know that yet. At the minute, he's asleep downstairs on his chair. He's purring away. He's very happy. He's very affectionate. He spent the night having cuddles on my bed. He didn't leave my bed. He just wanted kind of me, and he has had breakfast fine this morning and is toileting fine-ish. It's going to be a bit unsettled for a couple of days. But he's still not out of the woods. He can still turn over the course of today. And my focus today is just kind of being around him. I'm not going out. My house has not my house has basically been sat in a time freeze since about Thursday evening. So I need to do all of my laundry. I need to, scrub the carpets and things from where he had the catheter in, and just get the house back and reset back to normal. And then we need to look at the numbers. So there will be some budgetary changes because of this. I don't know what those are yet. At the moment, Bowie is okay. He's not the happiest cat in the world. He's not the healthiest cat in the world at the minute. And he has taken a few years off my life. If there's one thing I could say to any pet owner who's a budgeter, please just please just have pet insurance. Please just have pet insurance. And if you're not going to have pet insurance, make sure that you've got money set aside for whatever you are prepared to cover. I went with £8,000 because it felt reasonable, and it's okay, that's a lot of treatment, but actually in 3 vets visits potentially we're going to hit that, and it's not going to be covered again for the rest of his term, or for any kind of new policies I take out. That's where we're at so far. It's been a week. It's been a month. It's been a year. Bowie at the minute is fine. Not fine. Bowie is okay-ish. I don't know if I'm fine. That's a separate question for another day. Yes. So I just wanted to come on and do this little bit of a check-in. I just threw a community post up and everyone was like, what's happened? Is Bowie okay? And I'm I can't answer those questions right now. Here's what's going on. If it was going to be an out of hours vets today, you would not have heard from me today either. And if he had not made it, you wouldn't have heard from me for some time. So, touch wood. MDF plastic wood, that'll do. Touch wood, he's on the mend. As soon as he is healthy enough and looking like his normal self again, I will get him on to say hello. But yeah, I just wanted to do that little bit of an update for you and just let you know that there will be some significant budgetary changes coming in as a result of this, and a reworking of money plans, because my cat is more important to me than paying off my debt, and that is probably a controversial statement, but that is, in all honesty, how I feel, and I will be as transparent as I can on this channel, short of revealing any significant personal things that I don't want to share. I will, if I have to slow down a debt snowball, and if I have to divert funds away from other things, in terms of other savings goals, then I will. And that's just where I stand on things. On that note, I hope you all have a wonderful budgeting week. I will try and check in again with you when I can, and I am going to now love you and leave you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I will see you all as soon as possible. Bye bye for now.